It does sound like she was undecided.
No, she was very much decided. Very much decided. It wasn't a matter of being undecided at all. I was thinking, there was one other time that this happened. I was in Pittsburgh, and a woman didn't follow my instructions. She was sitting around eating stuff in some kind of crazy way, too, I remember. And at one point, somebody came into her house, and I had to hide in the basement. It was horrible. I was scared to death. And so I just didn't want to repeat that circumstance here at all. So that's what happened. She had enough pills to sleep soundly, but not enough pills to zap her.
George says he returned the following weekend, drove the 6 hours again, and successfully helped Pam commit suicide. An obituary on a website for sufferers of chronic fatigue syndrome confirms that on October the 26th, 2003, the same weekend George told us he returned, Pam Aker died at her home in Baltimore, aged 59. A few months pass. I hear that George's problems are ratcheting up. His congregation have asked him to resign. They've got a new pastor now.
There are members of this congregation who were disappointed in him, who strongly disagreed with what he was doing. Our denomination has come out in support of the right to die. However, George does not work with a board of advisors, with medical advisors, and I have a concern about that.
George says he's always been against advisors because they just get in the way and slow things down. He says he did once have a board of directors, but they were all clients and now they're all dead. They sound to me like a bit of a one-sided board. George says he's lost everything because of the Irish case, his congregation and all his money, but not his theology. He says the Bible clearly never condemns suicide.
I talked to an Episcopal clergyman in Charleston who was writing an article on Jesus intentionally letting himself go by turning himself into the court in Jerusalem. So, but people who say it's in the Bible and it's condemned in the Bible don't have a leg to stand on.
Is this true? It turns out that one of America's leading theologians, America's best theologian, according to Time magazine, works just a few hours' drive away from George in Durham, North Carolina.
So what about that thing George says about, there's an argument that Jesus committed suicide?
It's absolute bullshit. The martyr can never seek martyrdom.
Stanley says, of course, the Bible's anti-suicide. But when I ask him for passages that spell this out, he admits there aren't any.
The commandment, you shall not kill, means you cannot use your hand against yourself, is the way the rabbis always interpreted that.
And that's it. There's nothing else anti-suicide. I think George has won this theological argument. But then Stanley happens to mention something else.
Does he wear a collar?
Yeah.
He wears a collar. Amazing.
Why is that amazing?
Because Unitarians don't believe in priesthood. I mean, why should you wear a collar?
You don't think he wears a collar in a kind of, it's all right to commit suicide, what I'm about?
Yes, it's generalized expertise that I'm a compassionate guy, and therefore I draw on the authority of the priesthood, though I no longer believe in it, because he believes each person has a direct relationship with God, which doesn't need the mediatorship of a priest. So why should he wear a collar? And I think, quite frankly, it's a lie, and he ought not to do it. I think it's seduction, and that it should not be done.
I had no idea until you said that Unitarians don't usually wear dog collars.
No. I don't care how nice he is.
Did I say that I thought he was nice?
No.
Because
I
do actually. And
I'm sure.
I'm slightly.
I have the feeling that I'm sure. I mean, these people are nice, which only goes to show you how niceness is not a very interesting moral description.
The expert opinions are piling up against George. I'm still holding out hope that this man I've grown to like a lot is in control of himself and is only helping people he ought to help. And then, one day, a tape arrives.
I know it's bitter. Just keep drinking. Put your finger over your nose if you have to, and get it all down.
It's 4 years after I began filming George Exo, a church minister who helps non-terminally ill people commit suicide, and a tape arrives. George says he's helped somebody to die over the phone, and he's taped it. All he says about her is that she's called Shirley, and she's in a motel room somewhere in Arizona, and she's got a bottle of the same poison George has in his fridge. George calls this particular poison the Rolls-Royce of suicide methods.
Hey, Shirley. This is George. I guess the hour has come that we've been planning. I just wanted to check to make certain that you are still firm in your intention. Well, I know you're nervous. I know this is, you've not done this before, but that's all right. We're going to get through it all right. So it's time to drink the liquids, and we start with the potion, which is bitter and horrible tasting. So it's important that you chug-a-lug it right down. I know it's bitter. Just keep drinking. Put your finger over your nose if you have to, and get it all down. Oh, good. You finished it. All right. So it's the testimony then of those who died that you will be able for a short period of time to look down on your body, and then you will be drawn through a tunnel into a place of light. Breathe in, breathe out. Gate, gate, para gate. Gate, gate. Para sorrow gate. Gate. I think I heard the phone drop, which would mean she is probably now gone. And that's it. That's the way it's done. That simply. That quickly.
I can't work out if the tape shows George to be caring or predatory, so I decide to show the footage to an expert. Richard Badcock was the only criminal psychologist ever to meet and assess Harold Shipman. He's based at the Rampton Special Hospital in Nottinghamshire. He watches some of our early tapes and diagnoses George as being someone who's become too seduced by the specialness of his calling.
It takes your attention away